Good evening, free enterprise fans, and welcome to our night two of an exciting highway to the Zemus Zone VI race. And we have just an exceptional matchup today. Judge Joe versus xPankraz, two, frankly, of some of the top runners here in our community in round one here in these Swiss rounds. My name's Vitasia. I'm joined tonight on the microphone by my good friend Nitsi. How are you doing tonight, Nitsi?
I am doing absolutely fantabulous. And how are you doing, Vitasia?
You know, finally getting warmed up. It's night two of Highway to the Zemus Zone 6 officially. And I don't know if we could ask for a better race to kick things off tonight. These two are just some of the best, aren't they?
Yes. If you're looking for S tier gameplay, both of these runners, Judge Joe and xPankraz, as I like to call them, are some of the best in the community. So I am looking forward to an amazing match. And it looks as though we have a Cecil hero, Vitasia. What does that mean for our runners? What do you think their thoughts are? What would your thoughts be if you were running a race like this?
Well, it's interesting because Cecil Hero has some interesting things. One, in order to really get him online, that does mean that you're probably going to be doing mount ordeals. But I think unlike a lot of other tournaments and flag sets that we've run, Cecil is kind of depowered in this overall flag set. You're not going to run into a whole lot of Excaliburs or Crystal Swords. As such, he's powered down a little bit. That said, because he's your hero, you don't really have a way to get rid of him. You're probably just going to go ahead and get him activated. He does have a lot of gear to actively manipulate his agility, drain swords, dwarf axes, ninja hats if we want to go up instead of down. So honestly, Cecil is a very versatile hero to start off with. It just takes a little bit of work to get him going.
For sure. In the chat, Takumo indicates that DK Cecil is a good anchor, though. So I wonder if they skip ordeals and just drag him around, get your other characters go, as they are going to go now. And we will see who DK Cecil's partner in crime will be for our seed. I'm hoping for Iridia. Oh, it's Edward. Let's
Oh my
go.
god, this might be one of the worst starting combos. Says Dark Knight Cecil can equip a black sword, so that can get him through some of the early game fights. That Edward, really, you're gonna need a decent bow and arrow on him to be able to do any sort of heavy lifting. But he does start out at level 5 instead of level 10, like most other party members. So this is kind of a rough start, but I think if anyone can get through, these two runners will be able to get through, and we're not even going to see any slowdown.
No, for sure. I guess probably given Edward's your partner in crime, they will probably go up ordeals and get Cecil good to go. Although you never know. Interesting here that Pankraz is taking the front of the watery pass. Unfortunately, I missed yesterday's super hype matches. Have you been seeing this a lot?
This front of Watery Pass has been very popular. It's weighted pretty heavily in terms of the gear that you can possibly get, and there's just enough to get just enough gear to really feel like you can get through. Like, we just had a defense sword and a Leviathan orb. If we had a cane, or as soon as we get Cecil online, that defense sword, end game gear as far as we're concerned. And if we find Iridia, that Leviathan orb can certainly get us through a lot of stuff right away. I think there was a change rod as well. So between those two things, getting a black mage should be pretty good. The goal in the early part of the game really is to get just enough loot to get you through to where you can do some pretty heavy looting a little bit later. We see Pankraz now going ahead and saying, hey, we need to go through Damcyan anyway. There's a tiara, which is another great thing, and a black belt, poison, Lilith. The interesting thing about the gear in this particular flag set, with the max tier 6, but min tier 3 means there's just a lot of really serviceable gear that's pretty easily accessible. Meanwhile, we have Dupe Claws here on Mount Hobbs, Water Hag fight. So no extra character. It does look like our Cecil comes pre-equipped with the Black Sword, so that's fantastic for our runners.
I just wanted to remind everybody in chat that it's actually max tier 7 and not max tier 6.
Max tier 7. Sorry, my fault.
That's okay, Vitija. Just remember that come Friday.
Absolutely. There's probably going to be jokes going on all throughout tonight. Both Nitzy and I are actually racing against each other later this week on Friday, and I'm not going to spoil it, but we'll plug that later. So there's going to be some banter going back and forth tonight, I think.
For sure. Someone had to open it up there. So looks as though the turtle was taking a bath in the waterfall. I don't know what the objective would be here to take another Edward. Is it just to get experience here?
I think it's just to get experience. That Edward is pretty squishy right now. He's not able to do a whole lot. I mean, Black Sword Cecil can still get us through, like Antlion Cave, for example. But you probably want to get Edward a couple levels, and this is some pretty decent experience. And honestly, only 3 hits to get through this. It's pretty doable, all things said.
I would definitely agree. I was just curious as to your thoughts in regards to that. It looks as though, barring incident here, that Pankraz will be through. Use the throw range, why not? And Water Hag disappears.
I like that. He missed his previous bow shot, so he says, I need to guarantee a hit right here. Meanwhile, hey, we have some D-Lunars in the Antlion Cave, and we really don't have a good way to deal with those. We don't have any cure potions to throw. I mean, Dark Knight Cecil could Dark Wave, but again, that's between that and a percentage-based attack and the fire that they do, that's a little bit spicy to deal with the party that we have.
I agree. You don't see noping out of Antlion Cave, period, ever. So if somebody clipped that, you know, go viral. Go, hey, Antlion boss too tough. Tell your friends, and that's basically the conditions you need. So Judge Joe's decided, you know what? I'm going to go to Fabul. I'm going to buy myself a Thunderclaw because Yang on this flag set really shines. So if you can pick him up, he definitely helps out your team. Whereas in previous tournaments, Yang's utility has been quite low in regards to that. So it's very good, especially for the MacGiant grind. And we're going to see what Pankraz does here once he realizes that he's in some trouble. But
he's trying that Dark Wave, and there's just almost no damage there. Oh my gosh!
I was gonna say he's gonna try and plug through it. There's no resetting for him. He's like, nope, this is Antlion Cave. We're just gonna throw these things. And Edward, you can hide. Don't worry. Donkey Kong Cecil will take care of things. Except, the D-Lunars have other ideas.
What I think Pankraz is setting up is a strategy that you see sometimes with the Lunars. He's setting up what's known as lunar frogs. You get through enough of the fight to the point where the Lunars will eventually cast a breath attack. And you can reflect this breath attack if you can survive long enough to get through this fight. And it effectively nullifies their ability to cast their virus script once you start attacking them. So it can be difficult to set up, and really you only set it up and the Star Veil actually wore off because we waited for so long. So Antlion is 2-0 in this race against 2 runners that we were hyping up. That's the danger of just going in a little bit under-equipped right now.
Definitely, for sure. The Glass Joe of bosses has come through, and looks as though on Judge Joe's side, I found some notices, which are fancy word meaning basically Ice 1. And it's funny, Ruby doesn't like Ice 1, so we should see him eventually go down here. This is at Fabul, I believe.
Yeah, as our tracker Fiery Blizzard is putting out in chat, he actually saw the fight, reset out, and said, and went and bought those notices. I think they were already available in that item shop. So, rewarded with a dwarf axe. Now, again, that's not a key item, but with a Cecil hero, that is a -5 agility item. So it will allow some agility manipulation once we get our Cecil fully online and in Paladin mode. It also allows us to back row glitch Cecil in case we don't have any bows or arrows or anything lying around. Also, if we pick up a cane, that's and Sid. So great utility item. Not necessarily a key item that we got, but we'll take it.
I agree, absolutely. It looks as though Pankraz is going to come down here for round 2. I noticed he did pick up some Cure 2s in a shop somewhere. I was enamored with Judge Joe's place, so I'm not sure where they were. Maybe our tracker, Fiery, can let us know where he got those. Maybe.
I did see him wandering around. I wonder if, yeah, there's the Cure 2s. I wonder if those were in these shops here over in Troya. Yeah, there's the Cure 2s right there.
Perfect. Thank you so much for picking me up there, Viteja. I greatly appreciate it. So at this point, the D-Lunars fight will be now very trivial. And, well, you know, hey, 2 and 1. It's not too bad.
The other shop in Troya here has both silk webs and lives. Oh my gosh, darkness already.
No. Talk about spicy. Now, what do you do?
Well, here's the interesting thing, because you look at the total objectives that we have that require the darkness crystal, conquer the vanilla Murasame altar, conquer the vanilla White Spear altar, conquer the vanilla Masamune altar. We have 3 objectives, so that darkness crystal was a required thing regardless. Most likely required anyway, but to get it this early, the goal right now is to get your party, get it set up, and I hate to say it, and it's kind of been the theme for this tournament for those of us who've been doing lots of practice. We're getting ready for our Mac Giant grind, I think.
Absolutely. I would definitely say this as soon as you get Darkness Crystal. I mean, hey, launch the whale and look, you get a free character at least up there. So definitely take a peek at that. And then at that point, get ready and go.
Yeah, I mean, really the trick, and Alisale is right, our restreamer does indicate, you need stuff to Mac Giant grind with. You can't just go up there and it's not free experience, right? It's not free real estate. Normally, you need a couple things to set up. We mentioned Thunder Claws are great. Ogre Axes, Poison Axes, any sort of hammer with Sid do great damage. I think Charm Arrows and Charm Claws also do quite a bit of damage to them. But you also need a few levels, and you need to be able to survive hits. Now, having a Paladin Cecil that you can sit in the back row and kind of cover strats, because all this guy does is punch. So at the end of the day, if you have a decently equipped Cecil to help cover, that's another way to at least survive that particular giant grind. The problem is we're probably about 15-20 minutes away. We need a full party, and we need some more equipment before we can really get to this point. But once it's there and unlocked, it looks pretty good. And I think that was just some crystal armor that Judge Joe picked up in Antlion Cave. That helps enable that quite a bit, because that's a whopping amount of defense for a back row Cecil to have.
Agreed. Looks like Pankraz is going to give us a peek at the Hummingway shop. It's up here on the moon, the Hummingways. They all sit together. And, oh, some illusions. So somebody in the chat said, don't we need things to Mac Giant with? Ali Cell with a sword. So we have things now. The illusions will take care of that problem. So Edward and DK Cecil, just go. Or maybe not. What do I know?
Well, and I mean, getting this character, it's interesting because I've seen a lot of folks who plan on doing an early Mac Giant grind will hold this character and keep it for someone to slingshot up, especially if it's a black mage or a white mage. That Rosa is absolutely fantastic, but that's another key to be able to enable that Mac Giant grind. Getting Rosa up to, I think, level 24, 22 or 24 is where she learns Blink, which, again, with a back road Cecil and covering everyone, perfectly fine.
Wouldn't you just buy those illusions so that you could sling even more?
Yeah, but they're expensive.
Yeah, but we got a lot of stuff. I guess we'll see on Friday who does that grind better, I guess.
No, it's true. I mean, I've been practicing it. I'm not perfect about either. In fact, I think I'm going to reserve and let the two experts on the screen, Judge Joe and xPankraz, actually show us how the grind is done. So I'm going to be learning something here a little bit too.
Oh, I definitely agree. I will be learning a lot as well. But with that Rosa, really definitely changes the outlook for our team. It was, everybody's favorite Donkey Kong Cecil and his best buddy Edward. But now Rosa comes along and goes, you know what? I can use a bow. I can cast white spells. I can do stuff. Let me handle the heavy lifting here, guys. Until we find somebody else to go up ordeals. I'm curious as to why nobody's even checked the I don't know. Maybe it was me. I would check the Baron. Sorry, Town of Baron. I've had quite a day today. Just to see who's in there. Maybe Third Edward's in there.
Well, I think we saw it. It was one of our two runners did check it. I didn't see the character that was in it, but it was their first check. I think it was Joe who actually checked it very first before doing anything else. Yeah, it was Joe that did that. Pankraz was the one who went to the Watery Pass. It's interesting because that means xPankraz actually has the equipment, the defense sword, that makes Paladin Cecil kind of a viable DPS in terms of characters right now. Judge Joe knows what character is here, though.
Yeah, and this time he did not get blocked by everybody's favorite. That one NPC was not letting him into the shop. But he gets some mute bells, which can definitely be useful for a couple of bosses. The Baron guards come to mind, and it's a really well. There we go. We got a white mage. We got a black mage. We have an Edward, and we have a DKC. I think the next stop, provided you can get through this fight, which I'm sure that Judge Joe can, because he's pretty good. We will see what happens next.
Yeah, I mean, this will be really interesting because, we mentioned earlier we saw a change rod, we saw a tiara, which is a fantastic wisdom. I think it's plus 15 wisdom, so it's best in slot game for that.
Seed's got jokes. Who rolled this seed again? Ali Cell.
Ali, I think Ali Cell did roll this. So I'll file all complaints to Ali afterwards if you would like to complain.
Yeah, you thought that the seed was going to go fast with a Cecil hero, but the seed has had other ideas so far. 16 minutes in, and two key items for both of our runners. I feel like that's a little below average, I would say.
Yeah, it's a little below average, but we have. It's interesting because we still have some good direction to go. We can still go to Mount Ordeals if we want. Eddie was able to hide there, so no one actually died to the Shadow Dragon. Eddie actually came in useful, folks. I've not said that too frequently, so I just need it to be marked down somewhere. Eddie was actually useful.
Another clippable moment, chat. You don't see these things every single day. It looks as though Joe was able to get those star veils up, and This is going to be slow, but should be able to get through there. Because Golbez, while he's hitting, it's not for a lot based on the levels of our party. It would just be a little too much for them to handle without the Star Veils.
It does look like Pankraz is actually climbing Mount Ordeals. He's saying, I don't necessarily need the Rydia, but he does want to get his Cecil online. So someone in chat predicted earlier that, hey, Pankraz is going to keep this Dark Knight Cecil as a Dark Knight, as an agility anchor. Doesn't appear to be the case. We're going to get a fully activated and fully realized Dark Knight Cecil. And you know what? Dolls aren't bad for this spot.
No, I would agree. There are much worse places to run into dolls, so I'm okay to run them into them here. It looks as though maybe that Throat Rage gets them done. Oh, just a little bit short. Yes,
Oh no!
That's, you hate to see that. Those rolls were just a little bit low on that Throat Rage. So unfortunately, now you're dealing with this big angry doll.
Luckily, the damage at this particular location isn't horrible.
No, you're absolutely right there. But when you can glance Rosa, but good news, you can then do what you do. She still casts Cure too, and Calbrina gets healed. So it's win-win for Calbrina.
Meanwhile, Golbez is still okay. Whew. We're finally through this, Golbez.
Very clutch on Judge Joe's part. Edward HP ran out, and Cecil was hanging on by a thread. And you get a tower key, so still no underground access. So chat, do you want to see Demist at Zot 1 for logical underground access? I know I do. Why can't it be logical underground?
I mean, it absolutely can. But Ordeals 2 comes in clutch from the rafters.
Very clutch. This Demus fight is going to be not difficult, but slow, simply because Demus, after basically 3 attacks, will turn into Mist, and then you get to hang out and do nothing. I mean, you get to heal up, so I don't really see a problem unless maybe it froze for just me.
Well, I'm sure that Ali, our restreamer, is on it, just making sure that everything is going. Meanwhile, it does look like Joe is checking everything. Look, doing some extra looting here in Mist Village. Little does he know he'll be making a return trip there.
Oh, and looks like Demus did turn into Mist there. I apologize, chat. I was saying Tower of Zot 1 for Demus, but clearly my prayers have not been answered, so rip me. Turns out our restreamer Alicel with the sword is blaming something else. That's pretty classic. In the interim, we do have Pankraz still chipping away here. Again, because he'll have enough time between mist phases to heal up his party. He's got those Cure 2 potions. Again, it's going to be a bit of a slog, but there's no real danger here in regards to the fight.
No, not terribly difficult. We did try to get a prey off. Prey strats, Pankraz? Pray?
Prayer unanswered.
I'm pretty sure that he just missed aim. He just misinputted aim, is what I'm gonna venture to guess. That wasn't, yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna ask him about that in post-race interview.
Meanwhile, Judge Joe also checks. That's my favorite check, by the way. That grass spot in the Chocobo Forest, south of Ordeals, that's my lucky spot. I don't care who knows it. I know it's tipping my hand. I will always check that. And he pulled a Charm Rod, which is a +10 wisdom item. It's the second best rod in the game. So great pull for Joe there, who now has a Rydia, by the way, that it could get pretty stacked.
Absolutely. It looks as though Pankraz is getting ready for DK Cecil to perhaps equip a bow. Should he not come with a bow, he could come with a variety of really, really garbagey items. But definitely smart on his part. Just in case he doesn't, he'll be able to attack his mirror. And we will see who the mirror is in just a moment. That's right. He can come in with a drain sword if he doesn't like life, but sure.
Just some Dragoon gloves. Now that's some decent gear and can certainly help you with some cover strats if there's some really dangerous dragons that you're trying to take on early on. But we do have Dr. Lugay, and honestly, I think we're going to be all right because we have defense swords, we have a light sword. Interesting to back row glitch, Cecil. While we're in combat, we do have to at first attack with an item. In order to activate the back row glitch outside of combat, all you have to do is equip the long range item. However, if you're in combat, you can't just throw the dwarf axe on and then get it off. You actually do have to attack with it. So that's why we saw xPankraz throw that cloak miss.
Oh, you hate to see this. Now, I wonder why he didn't equip the defense sword. It clearly would have done more DPS, I think, than the light sword, which he currently has. So I'm curious about this choice because now he's going to sit and hang out. So, guys, what's new?
This
is
seed, yeah, this entire seed, we were hyping up how fast we were getting ready to go because both runners were incredibly skilled and we're going to go super fast. And this seed said, no, you're going to like slog through the first overworld and just deal with it. And I will say these runners are dealing with it as best as they possibly can. I guarantee you this would be much, much more difficult. I think if I were running it right now, I'd probably be like, wouldn't get through here until the 35-minute mark or so. These two have been doing incredibly well because these are very, very difficult fights and they have done exceptional. It just looks really painful and slow when you're a speedrunner and are used to things going super fast.
Agreed. Thank you, chat. I didn't realize that the light sword has 3 strength and that the defense sword only had 6 extra attack. I thought the defense sword was much better than the light sword, but hey, I learned something today.
No, yeah, that it always struck me that there were 3 weapons canonically that were better than Kane's quote-unquote best in slot in terms of the defense sword being the best thing that he can equip. I always thought that was funny.
Agreed. So your Pankraz, you have the darkness crystal. You still don't have your underground access. Presumably he's going to check Demas, but nope, he's going to go grab that Rydia, and then maybe he'll check Demas. So that's very exciting for him. Again, you see Judge Joe with 4 characters. He might be able to get by just a little bit faster if the team can all do their part. Just because there's more people to attack, basically. And on Pankraz's side, we see he is going to make very quick work of the Dark Elf, and he gets the poison text. You don't want to see that because as a speedrunner, you want to go fast, and that text is extremely slow.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, while the runners are kind of running over each other's steps, we're going to have another slow Golbez and another just a quick fight up top of Ordeals. I did want to plug, if there's anyone out there in the community who is looking at all of this and going, hey, I would love to get involved in the free enterprise community. First of all, if you're not part of our Discord, you should come join us over on the Discord. We're not only are we in the middle of a tournament, there's always pickup races going on. You know, after the tournament, there's going to be club seasons for novice runners and anyone else who wants to get involved. So feel free to join us over on the Discord. But also, you know, we are also looking for volunteers to help us in the broadcast booth. We are, like I said, in the middle of a tournament right now, and we're always looking for volunteers, not only for helping us do commentary and tracking, but restreaming as well, and all sorts of other volunteer positions. So if this sounds like something you want to get involved in and you're otherwise bored because there's no good sports ball that's going on, feel free to join us over on the Discord. Just ping some mods and some admins, be like, how do I get involved? And we'll help you get involved.
Absolutely. I can only echo what Vitasia just said there. Lots of great people like Alicel with the sword, Vitasia, myself, Fiery Blizzard, and Xenocat, and a bunch of other amazing people. I don't want to miss anybody, so I won't say anybody else. But definitely a lot of fun. We have a great time. It's wonderful. So like Vitasia said, no sports ball, so come join us. And baseball is not really a sport. You can at me, but you won't be able to change my mind.
I mean, it's entertainment, but it's entertainment like that is designed to be drank at, and then you don't. Yeah, and then you just watch it. So
agreed. You're there for the experience, and the baseball game's just sort of this interlude.
Anyway, so both Pankraz and Joe finish each other what the other one had done. Really looking forward to seeing this Demas turn in at this point, because this has to be our logical access to the underground.
I agree. I hope it's logical in that it's the hook. Please show me a hook. Come on, Pankraz. Show me the hook. Please, please, please. Come on. It's a hook. Thank you, Seed. Again, rolled by our amazing restreamer, Alicel. She definitely does not disappoint when it comes to rolling seeds.
So here's what I'm thinking, and this is just me. One, we got to turn in the rat tail, because I think that's going to be key, right? I mean, just while you're here, since we have the hook, let's go ahead and turn in the rat tail. But unless this is the earth crystal, and I don't think it's a spoon. Hey, guess what? Our Eddie is actually valuable now.
Boo to Inven with the sword in chat. Rat tail into magma key would have been terrible. Now spoon actually makes Eddie pretty useful, especially for the MacGiant grind. So if I'm Pankraz at this point, and I believe he's going to show what at least I would do next, I'm going to go run down, see who the character is here, try and fill out my team, and then I'm going to go and slay some MacGiants, because I want levels, and that's the fastest way to get it. But we'll see what Pankraz does here.
I think I'm right there with you, with one slight change. I'm not going to immediately go for MacGiants. I'm going to open up some of these some of these monster boxes that are in Eblin Castle, because I want my, like, even if I keep my Rydia down and I keep whoever this other character is down for a slingshot, I want to open enough monster boxes to make sure that Rosa learns Blink. And she's at level 18 again. We need to get her to, I think, level 24, just to make that MacGiant grind a little bit safer.
Or you could go back by those illusions, and then you don't really have to worry. Choices. Yes, hammer we can't equip. We do have some charm arrows. Eddie with the spoon will do some work against the MacGiants. He's not just going to be there for show and tell. So there is that, and maybe it'll be Third Edward here. Who knows? Nope, it's Yang with your pal Odin. So I think based on Yang that um, I don't know, Vitasia. I can see the argument for going into Eblin, but you have the Thunderclaw. If you just power up and just go power overwhelming, at that point, I think the equipment doesn't mean as much at that point. But we'll see what Pancras does.
It's true. I kind of want to know what level our Rydia is at, because again, part of me wants to make sure that she would take a nap in order to get everyone else to the right level and then enable a slingshot on her. It is, oh, by the way, there's a cat claw, just a casual cat claw. That the cat claws have really I think their availability has really enabled Yang to be quite powerful in this particular flag set. You mentioned earlier the glow up that he's had compared to past tournaments. Part of it is the Mac Giant grind and the availability of Thunderclaws, but I think the other part of it is also the availability of the cat claws just being everywhere.
Yes, I had a practice seed once where 4 boxes in a row I opened up were cat claw. So I had way too many cat claws. It was definitely a good problem to have. But yeah, it looks as though Pancras did find the monster chest, and he is going to loot here versus looting in Eblin Castle. Definitely a great idea in regards to that.
Oh, he got bailed out there. The very last treasure box that he opened, Poison Axe, which helps let our Cecil contribute to that damage.
Absolutely. Sometimes when you're good, sometimes the luck just comes along with it. So we will see where he goes next. I'm anticipating that, but and yeah, I was right. First time ever. And looks as though Joe is not that far behind. Might be just a minute and a half, and that's just travel time through the cave at this point. But still, anybody's race. 35 minutes in, and you know we're still not underground. So you love to see it.
And it looks like you called it. It does look like Pancraz is actually going to be picking up those illusions that you mentioned and getting everything set up first, selling excess equipment just to make sure that we have room. It's like, oh, what can I sell? What can I sell? What can I sell? I still need kind of everything. Do not blame you for going through trying to figure out what exactly is sellable, what is not sellable, and says, okay, I'll do 30 illusions.
And some Bob fragrance to throw at the searchers. So because I think he used up a couple of Thor rages there, trying to do his thing. So you want to during the grind you want to do a minimal amount of damage to the searcher so that he calls forth a Mac Giant, and then you can kill it and get experience and rinse repeat. We also have something called the life glitch. So in the vanilla game, basically I'll explain it. I'll try and explain it as quickly as I can here while Pancras is going to find his grind spot here, and Judge Joe is going to retrace the steps. So in the vanilla game, when you kill a monster and you use a life potion on him, he's supposed to regenerate, but all monsters are coded to have 0 vitality. So the way that the life potion works is it multiplies whatever your vitality is by 5 and gives you that much HP. That's why sometimes you see even on characters that we have here, you see that some of them will gain more HP when they get a life potion. Some gain less. You used to see that a lot with Tella when he was curse ring because he would only have 1 vitality. So in the game, when you life an enemy with zero vitality, it dies again, and you gain that much more experience. So it's it's a flag that we have. Boardface was able to patch that out, being the amazing person that he is. And so at this point, looks as though that's basically the life glitch. So basically, it becomes a 2-for-1, and if you're really awesome and you can throw 2 life potions before um, the sprite of the enemy dies, you get basically a 3-for-1. Oh, yes, definitely interesting on Pancras's side. I did not expect this. Warlock grind from Judge Joe, and it looks as though Pancras is just going to run up. Maybe it's King Queen Evelyn here. Maybe that's what he's looking for. And it's you. Hate
It's
to see it. Oh, that's that's a seed in a nutshell, basically. I wouldn't have expected anything less, and only because the turtle's taking a bath. The only basically is one of the worst characters you can get here. But looks as though Pancras is just using a siren, which calls forth the most rarest encounter within the zone, which is the 8th encounter. I believe there are 8 types of encounters in each zone, and it's 2 Mac Giants in this case. And unfortunately, um, they hit hard.
they do hit quite hard. Um, yeah, Judge Joe, meanwhile, with the Warlocks, this is really kind of interesting tech on both of them.
Absolutely. This is tech that is honestly way out of my wheelhouse. I will happily admit that you will never see in its guy pulling off this 3 warlock fight with your team with a combined, the 5 of them maybe have 1400 HP, and I'm being generous, between the 5 of them, and somehow pulling it off. And especially on Pancras's side with these Mac Giants, same amount of HP. The Mac Giants still hit hard, as you can see there. Rydia takes 1200, easy peasy. But maybe our runners have figured out something that the rest of us have not.
Well, this is certainly highlighting it. So 1 Warlock goes down, and we're getting a life glitch. It'll be interesting to see kind of how much experience Joe gets. Worth noting, both of our runners are keeping their Black Mage down. The Black Mage is the one that really is required to get the most experience. You have to dump a lot of experience into both Rydia and Palom even as well to get them fully online and ready to do a lot of damage. Really to get them to nuke is the goal.
Yes, Rydia, somebody told me, and I don't want to say the number because I'm sure somebody will correct me, but I'm going to say it anyways. I think it's something like 900,000 experience for her to get to level 50 where she learns nuke. Oh, nothing from chat, so just north of
yeah.
Gotcha. So I was pretty close. Pretty close, not too bad. But yeah, so you want to keep Rydia down because the more you can sling her up, the less pain you have to go through later on. Because once you basically sling up your character and get them their levels, it's a bit of a pain to gain more levels at that point, especially when you're short of 10 key items, like both of our runners are currently with 4 each.
And we see the other thing that Joe is doing is he's actually going to knock over his Rosa because he does not want Rosa to gain this experience. Really, what he's setting up specifically is attempting to grind out so that 3 characters are going to get massive amounts of experience from these Warlock grinds. 2 of them are going to not get it. The other 3 will be shot up to the point where the other 2 will then be eligible for the slingshot, which is through the searcher and doing the Mac Giant grind and really enable them to effectively double the experience that they would otherwise get.
Like you can see there, Cecil just gains a casual 34 levels, and that was from 1 Warlock chest and basically not a lot of time. So definitely smart there. Cecil's now at level 35. Going through the hook route should be pretty trivial, I would say, at this point. He knows that Odin is there, so probably not worried. I mean, you might be worried about certain bosses, but definitely 200 IQ from both of our runners here. Um, I'm happy to admit I would probably be still struggling at that antlion.
Well, and it's really interesting because both of them are taking a strategic individual fight to get them prepared for their Mac Giant grind. Because I think we're seeing Joe set himself up right now. He's like, hey, I'm going to be set up to be in a good position. Both Rosa and Rydia were knocked over, so they are going to be eligible for this slingshot that's coming up. So Joe setting up the Mac Giant grind. I got to imagine that's what Pankraz's goal is, getting actually Eddie knocked over. So it's going to knock over Rydia and Edward, as opposed to Rydia and Rosa, which is what Joe is doing.
That's definitely an interesting play. Now, Eddie can be slingshotted as well, and at high enough levels, Eddie can survive an unnerved Big Bang. But we will see what we will see. On Judge Joe's side, you might be wondering, why is he walking in front of Baron in a very particular fashion? Although maybe he's just thinking right now. Or maybe the stream's froze. Or maybe neither. No, he was thinking about it and then he decided to reset. So they're walking in front of Baron because somebody really, really smart, and I can't remember who it was. We had a tournament where you couldn't run from fights. And so somebody created a manipulation to get to this Mac Giant grind, basically by walking in front of Baron, taking a certain amount of fights based on whatever step you end on after you reset, because there are 256 seeds within Final Fantasy II, and that carries over to Free Enterprise. So based on whatever seed you land on, which is frame based, in regards to that, there's a table which is available at the FF4 Free Enterprise wiki. And once you find that, which I believe Judge Joe has, he will go make sure he turns encounters off, go up on the magical whale and activate the Giant of Babel cutscene. He will then go to the chest, turn encounters on, and the next encounter he'll run into will be a searcher, pretty much guaranteed. So it's exciting to see. I always wanted to see more Mac Giant grinds, so I'm really happy to see it. And so it looks as though our runners are neck and neck, but it looks as though Judge Joe pulled ahead just a touch. So 3 Warlocks seem to be a slightly better choice over the 2 Mac Giants. So that's definitely interesting.
Yeah, slightly different decision on who to knock over. He's planning on, and how the slingshot work is, it's double experience for any party member. If you have 5 party members in your party, anyone who is 5 levels or more below the median party member. So you get the max that you can slingshot is 2. And the way it was all set up, he chose to get his Rosa and Rydia to be those that were slingshot. We have Cecil swinging that poison axe, who's going to be doing quite a bit of damage. Eddie swinging the spoon, also doing 2,000, and then this Thunderclaw Yang is probably going to be focus punching for about 4,000. So that's very close to doing a full round. But unfortunately, Rosa got knocked over there, so we're going to have to take some time. I think that's going to be a little bit expected, but we do have the crystal armor on Cecil. again, now that Rose is in a weakened state, she won't be knocked over again.
Yeah, also, unfortunately, Judge Joe missed that first light glitch off that Mac Giant. Rose's turn was set to be next, but unfortunately, Mac Giant had other ideas, and Rosa went down. So, unfortunately, when Mac Giant was killed, there was nobody there to throw the life potion to gain that extra experience. So he's about half behind. So it'll be a 4+3 or maybe a 5+4. We'll see. Maybe Judge Joe can pull off some sort of wizardry where he can get double light glitch to get back on track. And we see the opposite of the mirror image. Oh no, sorry, mirror image. Don't mind me. Except obviously party members in a slightly different spot. Unfortunately, our Rosa and our Edward are just in the wrong spots, or we would have true mirror images. So a little bit sad. But you do see the silk web being thrown by Pankraz. And you might wonder, why is he doing that? Because the Mac Giant's going to die, and it's going to be useless. Well, funny story. When the searcher calls forth the Mac Giant, he retains the speed, in this case, or the attributes of the previous Mac Giant. So this Mac Giant is already as slow as he will be. So definitely great. And you do see these blinks up on Pankraz's side. You see Judge Joe going with a little more brute force there with Cecil and Yang, but they're both going through it now. So just gonna take this minute and shout out our amazing behind the scenes people. You have Fiery Blizzard, making sure all the buttons are pushed or eaten or not pushed in this case, as we're 49 minutes in and there are no objectives complete. We have Alicel, making sure that everything doesn't stay on fire, not on fire. So that's always good. And always a pleasure to work with my co-commentator, Vitasia. Always a thrill. Make sure you give them a follow. I would hit the button right now, but unfortunately I can't. But I will do that shortly.
No, and it's always a pleasure working with you, Nitsi. We were teammates in the last tournament, and now we are rivals for this week, but we are always comrades in arms on the microphones, shall we say.
Absolutely. And also, very, very big mistake on my part. Always remember our runners, Judge Joe and Pankraz. Without them, it's just me and Vitasia talking about non-sports ball for an hour and a half, and nobody wants to hear that. So definitely make sure you give them a follow, because they're both amazing people. They're both amazing runners. If you asked, I think, either of them for help, I think they would be happy to help you out with strategy or anything in regards to this game. I know Pankraz is a sage, so he's definitely around. I'm not sure if Judge Joe is, but I'm sure if you ask either of them, hey, I wanna my game be amazing like you guys. What can I do different? I'm sure they'd be more than happy to help.
Yeah. So we're at the grind phase of the race, and when we saw that early darkness crystal, I think we both knew pretty early on that we were going to be leading to this grind. It's been about, they started setting up the grinds and doing their initial setups at about the 30-minute mark, so it's been about 20 minutes or so. And this seems like it's a lot of time for them not making any progress, but it's enough to know that as soon as these grinds are completed, these steeds are going to be completed very, very fast. We're at about the 51-minute mark. I would not be surprised, given that we have 3 moon objectives that we need to clear, and one other that's just kill the king at the town of monsters. So that's the 4th one that's within our grasp right away. Things are going to be moving pretty quickly. So that's 4 out of 6 that we're already within reach.
Absolutely. When I kind of joked about how there's no objectives done in 52 minutes, you will quickly see those buttons be lit up by Fiery Blizzard, and they will get to 6 in a very, very quick fashion, especially with defeating the king at the Town of the Monsters. The 3 moon objectives. Then it'll be just a matter of either, let's see here. So finding a Baron key, finding a Pan, or, finding a Luca key, or basically a combination of 2 of those 3.
Now, let's not forget Forge as well. I root for Forge. I don't know why. It's way back, and I'm showing how old I am and how long I've been in the community. Way back in the days of before or directly after Highway to the Zemus Zone 1, before objectives were a thing. It was find the crystal, go kill Zerumus, and that was the early stages of Free Enterprise, the randomizer. The first objectives that we really had were complete the giant or forge the sword. So I have a special soft spot in my heart whenever I see forge the sword on the objectives list, because that's the beginning of objectives in their current form.
Absolutely. I've been around just as long, I would say. I remember that. I won a weekly community race back when Appleseed used to be a thing. Remember Appleseed?
Oh, no. Appleseeds. 6 minutes and you're done.
Hey, I beat all of the 4 people who were on the restream. I finished first. I wasn't even...
I remember that. I do remember that, Nitsi.
So as you can see there, both of our runners now are done. I'd like to see the forge as well, just because I like the cocoa shop. I like to see what fun is in the cocoa shop, to be quite honest with you. Sometimes they have spicy Bacchus wines in there. That's always fun. And Judge Joe gets a bonus poison axe. And as you can see, he was just so fast. I could not see what levels his Rydia were at. But I'm going to just make a small assumption that Rydia got nuked. So everything's good there. And it looks as though on Pankraz's side, he is stop going so fast. 51. Ooh, just a touch short.
Well, they both got to nuke.
Oh, they did get to nuke?
They both got to nuke. She gets nuke at level 50 and then Meteo at level 52. Callum, it's flipped. He gets Meteo before he gets nuke. So it's really interesting. Both of them got Rydia to nuke and not Meteo. So they were counting. They knew exactly how many giants they needed to kill to get to where they wanted to be.
And I apologize, chat. Sometimes I get a little dyslexic and I forget Palom's and Rydia's spell progression are reversed there. So my apologies to you there. But we are going to see Judge Joe knock out these moon objectives first. Meanwhile, we do see a bit of a divergence here for the first time in the whole seed, where Pankraz is going to go down and do the hook. Vitasia, what do you think about this clear divergence at this point?
So here's what I think Pankraz is thinking. I think he is hoping he's going to have to go down into the underground to... Right now we have 4 objectives that we know we can complete. We have 2 objectives that we don't know which one we're going to get done yet. I'm guessing that he is hoping that between the king, probably going to go ahead and kill the queen spot as well, since it's right there, and the Feymarch freebie spot that is right there. Between those 3, we get at least one other objective, and then maybe clean up some other spots. I think he wants to finish on the moon. And there's enough spots to check on the blue planet right now. He's thinking, yes, there's a lot of objectives that you can go clear on the moon, and we clearly have the levels right now. I think because he doesn't have the pass, he wants to just be able to clear out the rest of the blue planet so that he can go to the moon, just do what he needs to do, and then just like YOLO right there to Zerumus, as opposed to what Joe is going to have to do clear all the moon objectives. If he doesn't find the pass, he's going to have to come back down to the blue planet, kill everything, and then have to go up and rewalk that lunar path.
I agree. I see an argument on both sides. I could definitely see a world where both of these decisions are great. You see Pankraz with the swag cabin there and the swag save. When you're running, the game apparently just can't figure out that you're not on the save tile, but it still allows you to save. So that's a neat little Easter egg. And we do see, I believe this is going to be Mylon, classic Mylon. So definitely at these levels, not that bad at all. In regards to that, I don't really anticipate any issues here in regards to that, as these drains do 17 out of 2,800. So you can tell that Pankraz is really scared at this point. He's just trying to get Rydia to finish casting Quake there. That'll take care of those gas, who you don't see anywhere else in the game. And with Eddie doing enough damage, that takes them down. Yo, Sylvia, thank you so much for the tier 1 sub for 2 months. We appreciate your support. It keeps the stream going. So thank you so much and enjoy all of those emotes. What's your favorite emote? I think mine's the Smug Keen one. What's your favorite emote, Batasia?
Oh, I'm gonna have to go through the emotes to figure out which one's my favorite emote. Let's see here. I don't know. I mean, the free deal, the Tello with the shades is pretty boss. I don't lie. I really like it.
Yeah, being one of the members of the Keen is awesome support group that we have, I'm legally required to say that Keen is the best. So, but definitely enjoy whichever emote you wish to enjoy. As you could see there, Odin, he tried to throw his sword up in the air, but Pankraz said, "Yeah, I mean you can try that, but I'm still gonna get through. We're gonna get some more levels, and we have underground. Unfortunately, it will not be sub-hour, but it will be just a shade over an hour because cutscenes and walking."
Yeah, cutscenes and walking, and that's fine. Do we get a peek at who's at top of tower? That was so fast, I missed it.
I missed it too. I was like, I thought maybe it just lagged on me for a second, and I was like, Pankraz too fast. But I'm not really sure he's concerned about who's at the top of the tower. I guess it depends on if that's his next move. Now, he does have the tower key. Do you check these two key item checks, or do you run around and do your freebies at this point, Batasia? As Judge Joe has finished the vanilla Murasame altar and lights up objective 2. So I guess Judge Joe technically in the lead 1-0 at this point.
Honestly, I'm doing exactly what Pankraz is doing right here. You have an objective that you can do right here. I think this was always the goal. Get these 3. One of them is a required objective anyway. And if you happen to be given direction on some other objectives to get done from here, fantastic. That's the goal. This is routing for success as opposed to routing for any sort of like efficiency to do your objectives up on the way Judge Joe is. It's a smart way to do routing.
And rewarded. The Baron Key will, he'll have to do some fights there, but that does unlock the objective to defeat the Baron Castle Basement Throne, which he can do even before actually finishing the entire cutscene where you liberate barons. So it's definitely exciting. We do have the Queen, which is the guards, which at this point again, they'll hit for a little bit, but Cecil cover strats here mean that he will help out his people wherever he can. And the unfortunate news for the guards is they don't have the boss bit, so you can cast stone and they disappear just like that. Meanwhile, on Judge Joe's side, you do have the uh, monster of Lake Okanagan, Ogopogo, whose basically main attack is that big wave that he does twice and will basically remove 50% of your team's HP, of their maximum HP, I should say. So even though you grind up levels, and this I believe was a way that the devs were trying to say, okay, you can't just grind and grind and grind. Um, you need to figure this out because I'm Ogopogo and I'm gonna do some damage. So um, he is getting through there, and ultimately he does win. Rydia is down, but that's okay at this point. Finishing another objective and getting a dragon whip for his trouble.
Yeah, meanwhile, Pankraz does find the Legend Sword, half of that forge in the Queen spot. So now we're getting the King, which is the required objective. And again, it's Dark Imp, so just as they were before, this is very punchy. The Dark Imps hit hard, but they are, again, susceptible to that ability to stone them. And we are setting that up immediately for our Rydia here. We have an illusion set up for Cecil in order to be able to do cover strats. And I think this is going to be it. The stone will go off.
Yeah, it's funny because Leviathan, uh, I don't think he punches nearly as hard, but it seems as though whenever I see Dark Imps in this spot, they hit like a truck, and he gets some dragon armor. So unfortunately, I'm not all of Forge, but still some value there, and lighting up objective 6 on his side. So it's 2-1 at this point with Judge Joe in the lead, and he has run into Paledim. Paledim's fun mechanic is if you throw an elemental spell at him, he gains that life, and he counters with the taser. Can you remind me what he counters with?
Well, I think he heals from elemental magic, and there's no countering. What he does counter is summons. If you use a summon against him, he will counter with Quake, which is absolutely devastating. So you do have to be on the lookout for that.
Thank you. I had forgotten. I knew he did a counter on something. I just couldn't remember what. And Levy doesn't punch. That's right, Fiery. Now I'm remembering. There was a quirk, and we always wondered why that spot had a lot of physical attack when Leviathan does absolutely no physical attacks. Again, I was confusing Leviathan and Ogopogo. Just my dyslexia coming through there a little bit. But we have. Yeah, the good news, sorry, I was just going to quickly say Nuke is considered a non-elemental attack. So Paledin just says, okay, I eat those and do nothing. And you win 100,000 experience. Go, go, go.
Yeah, to your point, there's a lot of different encounters that are very similar to that. Judge Joe finds Magma Key and Twin Harp up in the Ribbon Room chest, so he will have a shortcut to the underground much, much faster than Pankraz, although Pankraz is set up to not have to do the lunar walk again. So this is going to be incredibly close once we get to that point. But yeah, there's spots all across Free Enterprise that, for example, the Plague fight, nothing but cast there, but it has some pretty high magic attack at that particular spot. So lots of places that you have to be at least a little bit concerned about.
For sure. If Judge Joe spikes a pass, then I would say he ends up in the lead simply because of having a pass and Pankraz not. But we will see, as you see here, Pankraz has defeated whoever he defeated there. Oh, it was Yang. I remember from the beginning. Is that it written down? So he's going to go straight down, right into the basement throne, and see what he can see and figure out. Nice palette swap. Love to see red-haired Rydia. And it's elements, because we already ran into Rubicant, so this fight will be fairly easy. I'm curious to see how he's going to take it, and that's what I would do. So you can reflect spells onto Mylon Z in this case, and it will not phase change him into the 4 forms. So he's just going to do enough damage there to be able to avoid those phase changes and use Cure and take care of things.
Yeah, that's the general rule of thumb in Free Enterprise, and there's a pink tail, so not another objective, but and I don't think we're even going to get that turned in, honestly. But as a general rule for Free Enterprise, whenever there's a boss script that says counter when magic is cast, counter when attacked, or whatever, it bypasses that entire script if it's hit with a reflected spell. So things like the Zemus HP refill, things like the elements phase transition, all of that can be avoided just by using reflected spells. It's great tech to take a shortcut on some enemies.
Amazing question in chat. Can the pink tail lead to another key item? No, unfortunately, it can never lead to another key item. It can be an objective, but the Borzoi, it can have either a tier 7 or tier 8 item, and it's not specific to the hero. So it really depends on where you are in the seed. As alluded by my co-commentator Vitasia, we will probably not see that turned in just because they've already gone and handed in the rat tail. There's no real need to go back there, and to go back there would just take extra time at this point. So I don't see that, but we do see a Sid, and we go, "Hey Sid, how you doing? Hey Sid, run away."
Hey, buddy. I'm sorry. We do have a Sid enjoyer in chat. I know that Sid is a favorite of some members of the community. So, sorry, Sid is not appearing in this seed.
Rip, and it looks as though it's laying down Anna and some sort of mage blocking the path there instead of the traditional Palom Emporium. Again, just another fun Easter egg that Free Enterprise offers, and Pankraz, for all of that hard work, is rewarded with womp womp. It's a lunar staff.
Not looking great. I mean, if we're missing something to help our white mage cast heal spells, that's one thing. However, now we're in a position where we need to. Pankraz is going to the moon from the looks like. It says, "Hey, I've put off doing these lunar objectives. I was able to get 2 done. It's one race for a single item now. We have the legend sword, so it's just an adamant rock, a Luca key, or a pan is what we're looking for. One of those 3 items. First one to one of those first wins. I think Judge Joe is going to be following a path very similar to what Pankraz just did. He'll probably do both the King Queen right here, and he will also be checking that Baron key that he just spiked as well.
Absolutely. Also, Pankraz forgot where his whale was parked, but then he remembered. So good on him for remembering, because sometimes my practice seeds, I forget where I parked my whale. It's kind of small. So we do see Pankraz going to go down. He's going to go to the Murasame altar and take care of that boss with not much worry at all. Now the question is, will Judge Joe attempt at the Queen boss?
That will be interesting. Because because Joe does not have quite the equipment that Pankraz has. Pankraz had his Cecil with and was swapping him between a lightsaber and a defense sword. His Cecil only has a poison axe right now, so not quite as beefy. Although Edward is still swinging quite hard. Cast size instead of trying to get swag Odin. He gets the swag Odin. Okay, that's cool.
I was going to say I was a little confused by the size, but I'm I clearly missed that he had Odin queued up there. So it's a bit of a swag kill there. So you love to see it. Both of our runners have showed off some great tech, and they've also showed off some great swag as well. And it looks as though he will end up getting that Baron key here through the guards, unless there's a major problem here and somehow the guards take him down.
Just a quick correction. The Baron Key was from the Feymarch freebie. This is actually going to be the Legend Sword, I believe.
You're absolutely right. My apologies to Vitasia chat. I, again, just flipping things around.
Yeah, and as Kyrios is pointing out in chat, Pankraz opted to save between the two fights, between the king and the queen. Joe has always been one of those players that likes to take a little bit of gambles. He will absolutely risk doing this double without the need to save, or without the feel the need. It's hurt him in the past, but he's in recent, I would say in the past practices that he's been in, he's really found a great balance, and that's how he's able to push his times down. He does take a few more risks than other runners, like not saving, but he knows how far he can push it, and this is one of those examples.
Unfortunately, Odin did whiff this time. You hate to see it, just because Odin kills are always fun when you can do them in free enterprise, because you can't do them that often. But unfortunately, these guards are going to hit hard. But we'll see if this stone lands, and it does. So he's lost just a touch of time. I'd say maybe 20 seconds or so, maybe 30 seconds. But he will get that Legend Sword. He's got the Zeus Gauntlet there. It's too bad that Rydia will never grow up, so we will never see Rydia wear the Zeus Gauntlet. That just makes my heart a little bit sad.
It's funny because of all the party members that we currently have that you want to give the Zeus Gauntlet to, honestly, Spoonward right now is swinging the hardest, but he can't equip it.
Yes, it's funny that Kid Rydia cannot equip the Zeus Gauntlet, but Adult Rydia can. But Edward cannot equip the Zeus Gauntlet, period. But I mean, he's supposed to be a bard, so I guess that kind of makes sense. But Rydia being able to equip it as an adult doesn't make sense. And long story short, Final Fantasy is a perfectly programmed game with absolutely no problems at all. Good news, the black shirt actually does what it's supposed to do and buffs Wisdom instead of Will, as it does in vanilla.
We just try to ignore all of those. I mean, we're very grateful that we were able to get a lot of those, what were clearly bugs, out of the original game to what the developers originally intended.
Absolutely, we're quite spoiled when it comes to this. Now, I apologize, and maybe somebody in chat can help me out. Did Judge Joe go to Crystal Sword? Ultra, I know that he did Ribbon Room and he did get the Twin Heart for his troubles, but I'm just wondering if he decided to make the long trek out to see maybe if that's where the key item would be. He did not. Thank you, Fiery. So that is something maybe Pankraz will do, knowing that he will be one item away. No, 1K item away. I was right. From Go Mode, I wonder if he makes the trek out there, and I wonder if he's rewarded for his troubles in regards to that. You're right. It's not terribly probable, but greater than 0 tells me there's a chance.
It may not be probable, but it's not impossible at this point. Meanwhile, Pankraz set up. He reset out of Ogo Pogo, saying, "Yeah, I want to go in a little bit more prepared." And Ogo is one of those fights that, when you know that you're immediately starting out with half of your HP gone, you do want a little bit more setup.
You wonder now, when Pankraz was underground, there's a freebie in the Sylph Cave where you can go and just talk to Yang. He doesn't say anything. It says nothing happened. Then you can go and check Sheila 1. I wonder if Sheila 1 has what is needed. That would be very interesting Let's say if she
Oh,
has a rock, that 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 would be large, and that would
yeah,
be
it is a freebie. It's interesting because to your point, the whole point of the free enterprise randomizer is really leveraging what advantage you can. And clearly the seed is, we gave you early darkness crystal. It gave you the ability to do those levels early. So both of these runners reading the seed are naturally saying, okay, we're going to do the things that uses the levels so I can leverage it. That Feymarch freebie is something that I think a lot of free enterprise runners would do very, very quickly if they didn't weren't able to just steamroll everything right away, right? So the fact that neither of them are doing this, you might say, a runner who was less confident in their ability to run might go and do that and be able to make a counterplay.
Nitsky raised his hand very meekly. I would make that play in this situation because it's there, you're there, and maybe listen, sometimes in randomizers you got to get lucky. Sometimes that's just the way the cookie crumbles, and sometimes luck wins over skill. And if it's me, I I go for the low probability play. Is the probability that Shilawin has something pretty low? It sure is. But if I'm one away, or I know I'm going to be one away, I'm gonna just go and do that because it's gonna take me a minute and a half anyways. I'll go hang out, get a free item from Sheila, and maybe it's a zone. But we will see how it works.
No, absolutely. And I've always said in this randomizer, in Link to the Past randomizer, and Metroid randomizer, and every other randomizer that is out there, it is not just about the route that you take, it is about the route that your opponent takes and just doing what they don't. So knowing that if you're up against some skilled competition and their style of play is going to be leveraging these levels, making that counterplay is perfectly valid. And we've seen in many tournaments lots of what I would say more skilled runners lose to less skilled opponents, at least less technically proficient opponents, simply because their opponent made a counterplay like that and got lucky. So that's the name of the randomizer, and that's why these sorts of tournaments are so exciting.
I agree 100% because you never know what's going to happen. And in theory, anybody can win any race at any time simply because sometimes luck beats skill, which is fine
In the
because we like to
meantime,
see it.
yeah, in the meantime, both runners now have 5 objectives completed. Pankraz just completed the Masamune altar. Has not done the ribbon room, which is the only other thing Joe has done on the moon. Remember, Joe skipped both Cave Value, Cave Bahamut, and the Crystal Sword altar. Meanwhile, Judge Joe says, okay, I have the tower key, and this is a good twofer check right now, doing the top of tower and tower key. We only need one of 3 possible objectives. We only need the Adamant Rock, or the Luca key, or the Pan. Getting a twofer check right here is fantastic. I'm a little surprised he isn't trying to leverage the Twin Harp. We got the Magma key, and he certainly made use of that. This top of tower is going to be oh goodness, it is the CPU fight.
Oh well, Alicel with the sword rolled this seed, so based on what we've seen so far, this is definitely not surprising at all.
Not even remotely. All those levels that we got, yes, it'll make this a little bit faster, but again, CPU fight, it does percentage based damage, so you're still going to have to heal up. It casts wall on its main bit, so you're not going to be able to just nuke it to the ground immediately. This is really just Probably worst case scenario for something you want to see this late game.
Agreed. Now, even though it looks as though they're floating, they are susceptible to quake. So I have seen in the past some runners have been just like Judge Joe. You roll the dice, and maybe Globe 199 doesn't hurt you at all. You've got Berserk on your characters, and maybe you do just enough damage to get CPU down there. Meanwhile, we do have Pankraz. Just wanted to point out there, he is making the Crystal Sword play. I love this play because you're here. And if it's go mode, even though it's a really, really low percentage, and maybe he doesn't know it's a low percentage, but you got Artie Bow at the top for Judge Joe. This could be down to the wire, because at this point, without pass, Judge Joe does have to come back and walk Lunar Subterranean. So while he did save time getting the Magma Key, it's time that he is unfortunately going to lose having to come back. You do have the sisters here, which again, Rydia can just cast Quake and solve all of life's problems eventually.
Absolutely. And kudos to Joe on that one. That was a very slow spot, so he knew that he had plenty of time. A trick that I always use, and this is a hint for anyone who might be struggling with the CPU fight. Remember, not only does the laser do 10% of your party's health, but if you're struggling to try to calculate how much damage you need to do to the big orb, remember, Remedy does 10% of his overall health. So if they cast Remedy and it heals him for 1,500, for example, you know that he has 15,000 health before he dies. So you can kind of count off the melee swings and queue up a Quake that you know is going to be doing anywhere between 3,000 to 5,000 damage right at the right time. In that particular case, Joe just kind of, again, YOLO'd it, as is Joe's wont to do, but very, very quickly was able to go through. Just a little tip about the CPU fight that I've always found handy that members of the community taught me, and I want to pass along. So,
Yes, as the meme has been, Pankraz can get underground now, so that's definitely good. Unfortunately, while I loved the play, and I knew it was a low percentage play, was a defense sword as Crystal Sword altar, but maybe there will be value in K Bahamut. Meanwhile, we do see that Judge Joe is going to walk down with his Artie Bow, and we will see what the helpers of Sid, as I call them, will provide him when they save our party from absolute annihilation and doom. So again, very interesting for both of our runners. Again, if Pankraz somehow, if there's a key item here, he does still have to go back. So there is still that working against him, and it is a pain on Judge
the
Joe.
pan. All right, so it is go mode for Judge Joe.
It certainly is. So at 1 hour and 25 minutes, and we'll call it 30 seconds, Judge Joe is affectionately in what we call go mode. He just simply needs to go and bonk Yang with the pan and then return it to his wife. Judge Joe will be rewarded with a crystal. He might also spike the pass. There are 3 checks in total here. The sylphs, when you bonk Yang with the pan, will give you an item. Could potentially be a pass. A pass is in the key item pool. And we will see that shortly. Yes, something Durike means. Adds a rock, which is just comic.
You know what? I'm turning in the rock. I'm not turning in Sheila. I'm turning in the rock.
But the pass.
But it's shorter.
But the pass, Atasia, yeah, it's shorter, but then you got to make that walk. So.
No guarantees. There's no guarantees. And he's going to turn into Pigtail as well?
Wow, what swag. Judge Joe is... Oh, no, he just
dropping it off.
Oh, that's okay. He went from swag to troll. That's so rude, Judge Joe. You think you have enough free time that you can just troll us with your troll moves, Meanwhile, you could be in for the fight of your life because maybe Pancras somehow spikes.
You know what? I
So,
don't want him to get the pass. I want him to have to do the lunar path again now. And of course he gets a pass.
see, I told you.
No, you're right. It was the right play to make.
There are 3 checks total. The probability of the pass being there was pretty good. It's sad that there was no music this seed. That makes my heart a little bit sad. But
Oh, we'll check the music a little bit later, but this is the question in chat. We do have the ability, if the runners agree to draft some modifiers for the flag, it is possible. But this is just the base flag set, so no extra work being done here. Meanwhile, Pancraz gets the Earth Crystal, which is not what we wanted to see. So here's the thing: Pancras is probably going to do Twin Harp to Earth Crystal because that's a good combo right now, as opposed to doing the Tower Key, which we know is the combo that we want.
what did Curio say in chat? Something. Check your K mains. I've been told that the weighted on key items for K main checks is greater than both K summon and K moon in this flag set. I'm not sure why, but that's what a reliable source told me. I will keep that source anonymous.
So, of course, we have some Z flags. One of the special things about the free enterprise community is that we've randomized the Zemus sprite so that we're not just fighting plain old Zemus every time. It is one of, I've lost count. I think we're over 600, somewhere between 600 and 700 different potential sprites for this particular fight. And during the Zemus sprite, it does look like we will be serenaded with the randomized heart music as well over on xPankraz's side.
So, chat, whose butt are we kicking tonight? I hope for literally zero miss. It's the number 0. It's called Omus. I haven't seen it in a very long time, so maybe we'll see it now.
Party is incredibly healthy. Remember, we had that slingshot on Rydia and Rosa on Joe's side. He still has an Edward with 1,300 health, which is a very, very beefy Edward, swinging that spoon.
Oh, I did not know that was your contribution, Wells, but it looks as though this is Golbezimus. Somebody will have to fill me in on the lore for this, right? Because I'm not sure where it
is. This looks like it might be. Is this a record keeper spray? Not record keeper. Okay. I'm hoping someone can fill us in with the lore. It's Golbez from somewhere else. Unfortunately for all of the thirsty folks in our community, he still has his shirt on.
Very sad. Very, very sad. So it looks as though we're going to see reflect strats or probably hybrid reflect strats.
Probably hybrid strats, although it looks like we missed an input on Rydia, so we took a nuke to the face, unfortunately.
That is a little unfortunate there in regards to that.
We might have to be quiet, though, during the middle of this fight while Pancras shows us. And DJ Spoony B, what's on the turnstiles today? Oh, we'll get music later. We're okay. Thanks, Allie.
No, stairway denied. Oh, lame. So it looks as though it's going to be hybrid strats there. So Zemus initially comes to you with 61,000 HP. Because the game can't handle more than 8 bits, or at least 8 bits were only allotted to the HP for each character. No character can have more than 65,535 hit points. So in order to get around this, the developers were really smart and said, you know what? Once you do 45,000 damage to Zemus, we will refill his health back to 61,000. So it'll look as though he has 100,000 health. It's how we can cheat. But they left some issues lying around, such as when you use the Star Veil and you reflect that off, it doesn't count against that refill. So you can do basically 61,000 damage via reflected spells, and you'll never see rocks. So it's good times. And it looks as though the music got us a Luca key. So we will see Pankraz go ahead probably and take that at this point. Meanwhile, a feature of these flags and a lot of community members is that the Z fight was fairly trivial, but these days no Z fight is trivial anymore. As you can see here, not that Judge Joe is down and out, but when your Cecil's down, that's usually never a good thing.
Not usually. He took a counter nuke, followed immediately by a big bang. So it was kind of a bit of a nasty combination that he had. Meanwhile, we have Eddie hiding. We have whites being thrown around. It looks like we're just going for we're in pure reflect territory at this point.
Yep. So hopefully, looks as though Rosa should be able to survive this big bang. Rydia may potentially be in trouble. I'm not sure what gear she has on specifically. And yeah. So now, if I'm Judge Joe, I'm panicking maybe just a little because, fight's hard. Tell your friends.
Yeah, it's not necessarily an easy fight, and Virus tells us we're still in that first phase, and yeah.
The question is, has he been counting? No, he is going to use Life 2. He's going to go with the safe strats, because even though, as I indicated, at 45,000 he would refill, if you've done more than that and you can do enough damage to him directly, you can go ahead and kill him directly that way. I believe somebody's done that before. Who is that? I'll have to remember who figured that out. It might have been me. Can't remember.
So our tracker is absolutely asking a valid question right now, and we mentioned it earlier. Joe is someone who really likes to push the envelope quite a bit when it comes to saving. We mentioned earlier. It's been a little bit since he last saved. We think it might have been like since the tower, which would be absolutely devastating if things are set up in such a way that he's trying to get as much damage off. He thinks he's probably only like 1, maybe 2 nukes away.
He must be counting. I would definitely hope that he's counting.
Oh, okay. There it is. Whew.
We do have a winner. That is GG. Congratulations to Judge Joe winning in an official race spot time of 1 hour, 35 minutes, and 22-ish seconds. So GG to Judge Joe. A little bit of a scary fight there, but was able to push through. And we do have Judge Joe in the booth. GG. Congratulations. What a race. What a seed. Just your thoughts, I guess, on how things went.
That ended actually faster than I thought, based on how slow this opening was. That was one of my most enjoyable openings in a while, and it sucked.
What made it enjoyable? And then you turn around and say, I mean, obviously we saw there was quite a bit of struggle from both of you.
I don't know if I've ever used notice strats on Ruby. That was a fun one. Having to reset out of Antlion, there's another type deal. Like, there's just a couple different things that took what the seed said, the lack of dancing daggers in any shop I checked, which was way more than I would usually. I had fun with the hey, here's a hook route. Also, have a spoon. And it's like, but couldn't I have had that a while ago? There were just a lot of fun things about the seed, and then you do your grind, and the rest is kind of simple from there if you don't mess up and nuker in Z. But outside of that, everything felt good from there.
I was gonna say, you gave us some really interesting tech, taking that 3 warlock fight ahead of time and setting up who you were going to be slingshotting there. That seemed new. Is that something that you've been doing for a while now, or what?
Almost never. That was like of the last seeds, I took like 1 warlock because my agility was going to be poor in one of them, but that was the first warlock grind I've done in a long time. Pretty much, I had a poison axe, I had a base level yang, I had a low level 18 spoon word. Yeah, I had a multitude of charm arrows, but my damage was going to be really, really bad at 100,000 XP, and all of a sudden a MacGiant grind isn't the slowest thing in the world.
Definitely interesting. It's the first time I've seen that. So thank you so much for showing that off to us. Also, thank you for trolling us with dropping the hovercraft like you were going to pick up the pink tail. So that was...
I thought about it. Up until I checked and got the pass and everything, I was deciding whether the pink tail was going to be worth or not. I had no clue what state it was in. I had nuke, I had white, I had a yang, so the Z fight was kind of solved. I wasn't even sure if getting a weapon would have worked. Thought about turning in Forge, but I chose to do Pan because could have gotten the pass, which it did. There was a lot of stuff running through my head going into Z because I was trying to figure out just what I needed to, if there was any time saves I could make. And then
That's okay, for sure. Do you know where you could have potentially made a time save?
Well, the major one for me, I could have faded like if I had Router's Relish, fade Baron, just go do the tower key, skip CPU, and you get better go mode. But besides that, it was mostly just not nuking Rydia and Z was the major misstep. The rest was maybe there was a dancing dagger somewhere I didn't loot, but outside of that, I think I was happy with my play.
That was all good, Judge Joe. I was really not expecting you to say anything. You played the seed like a pro FE runner, which I think all of us have learned tonight that you definitely are. Pankraz is no joke, and to knock off somebody like him as your first round match definitely has got to feel good, going 1-0 and moving on at least to week 2 in regards to that. And yes, if you had done tower, that would really have been the only other thing, and making the Z fight a little more exciting for us in chat. That was also a nice touch in regards to that.
So I guess if I had a little time to make it you worry, might as well use it. But no, I feel real good. This was my first time getting to race Pankraz in a tourney match, as opposed to just a large group race, a group async, some random pickups. So it was a lot of fun. Definitely happy to win. I I picked correctly when it came to the guessing game, it sounds like, and I'm looking forward to future matches. I saw a lot. We have a real fun group. I have some potentially real fun opponents in the next round, and yeah, no, I'm just happy to be in this group. It's lots of fun.
That's awesome. Any final words? Or you're gonna go show us what the forge is, which is really exciting because we did not see that on Pankraz's side. So I'm hoping for a zonk here for Cecil.
I think it's finally worth to get a decent weapon because Joe has been rocking that poison axe the whole time for the seed, while Pankraz had both a defense sword and light sword at various points. So, Lightbringer.
Yep. I don't know. It speeds up Z because you can swing it for bigger than a dwarf axe, but I still don't know if that makes me go Zerkers.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I will say we were a little bit worried about your Z fight because we weren't sure when the last time you saved was.
I threw a save right before Z. Maybe not the standard right before Z, but I did do one. So
Okay.
I made sure to be safe. And finally did turn in the pink tail. But thank you guys for putting on this restream. It'll be lots of fun to watch the full thing back, see how Pankraz tackled some of these same fights, where I gained time, where I could have lost time, all of that, and always a pleasure. Hope everyone has a good night.
All right, take care.
Thank you, and that was Judge Joe, our first round winner in the. Don't tell me what group is this again? This is
the MacGiant Group. Yes,
the MacGiant Group. Thank you so much. I've had quite a day today, and the music is the Black Omen from Chrono Trigger. So another nice song. And on Pankraz's side, we do see him finishing off in a time of 1:43.24. I don't know if he will be joining us in the booth or not. Our runners, as always, they hold the option if they want to have a post-race interview. So I think we're just waiting on that.
Either way, I mean, this was just a fantastic race, and both of these runners really highlighted how difficult these flag sets can really be. And I believe we are now joined by xPankraz. GG's on that run. It was so close.
Hey, GG's, thank you.
So tell us what you thought of the seed and the question on chat's mind. The prayer unanswered at Demas, was that a foreshadowing of what was to come for this race?
That's called an overplink. That's about it.
The old overplink. I was really hoping there was some foreshadowing there. So you're handed a Cecil hero and best buddy Edward, and you're handed all of these things, and yet you can't really go anywhere. What are your thoughts on the seed? What made you decide to reset out of Antlion? I can never usually ever say that during a post-race interview, so I gotta say it.
Antlion, the first attempt was a wipe. There was no coming back from it after Edward got breathed. I was a little bit confused. There was some kind of visual bug with my menu there. Right before the breath went off, I was staring at that a little bit confused, and then it hit, and Edward got turned into a frog. And without much damage, there was no coming back from that, so I figured I would go shopping, check Troya for curatives or bombs, or, maybe the seed would be generous and give me a dancing dagger. But something to give me a little bit more oomph and to get things going there. The rest of the early game was a little bit rough in terms of power, in terms of availability, with at least the loot route that I took and all that jazz. Didn't have a dancing dagger, didn't have a heroine robe, had archer bow, samurai arrow, rosa, and a black sword, and that was kind of it. And that made for some doable but slow fights, basically every turn. make
Uh,
things, well, an experience.
Yeah, and you showed off some tech I don't think a lot of people in chat have seen. You used the siren to call two Mac Giants. Can you just quickly, or however fast you want to tell us what your thoughts were and why you decided to do that?
I was hoping for two things from that. Number one, I wanted to try to set up a second sling. Could have done it by just getting Cecil some more levels or getting Edward some more levels, but with the party that I had and everything, I thought that I wanted to slingshot Edward and to get Yang experience to help with the Mac Giant grind. Um, Getting experience for the grind was the second aspect of that. I could have either gone back, used the siren on our deals, and then given up a sling on Rydia to Leviathan like the Eblin Castle chests and have enough oomph to get going. But I thought with the giant stack of illusions, we'd give the siren on the Mac Giants a go. It went a little slower than I was hoping, I won't lie. Probably should have pivoted Cecil to the Poison Axe after I got into a illusion loop, but it was a means of getting the grind going and getting it to be a little bit more efficient in terms of setting up a sling and having base levels to hit the giants harder.
Well, at least for myself, I learned a lot of things tonight, so I appreciate that that you were able to show off all those things that we might do when we're not handed the greatest of teams to start. So, any final thoughts? I've heard in chat that the last time you started a tournament 0-1, you ended up winning it. So, do you like to play the role of the underdog, just like coming back from behind?
I mean, that one was my second tournament ever back in the Lally Ho League, when I was still a relatively up and coming runner and kind of an unknown. Was the first round matchup against Dia. Very similar playstyle to Judge Joe, at least in my book. So, funny that it happened again. Sad that it turned out this way, but can't be too upset. Made a number of mistakes on the back half in this one, and didn't. You can't do that many mistakes and expect to come away with a win. So hopefully, my future matches go a little bit better, and I can. Well, I won't say repeat exactly what happened 3-4 years ago, but maybe get off to a little bit better start than 0-1.
Absolutely. Vitasia, any questions?
No, it was really a fantastic run, and it was back and forth. Everything you did made absolute sense. I was able to kind of walk through, and you showed us some really cool tech. I really hope you look forward to watching this one back. It was just such a fun race.
Yeah, it should be a good time. I'm looking forward to see the divergences and to see where, other than the whole Twin Harp Toluca versus Tower Key to Pan divergence, where the time difference lies. Should be a fun watch.
Absolutely. It was an amazing race, and thank you again so much for allowing yourself to be restreamed. We know it's definitely not easy being under the lights. So, on behalf of myself and the entire crew here, thank you so much for that. We greatly appreciate it.
Of course, was on the fence. I initially signed up as no restream because I wasn't sure how my schedule would work out. But scheduling on days that I'm not at work makes things a little bit easier on the time front. So glad to have put on a show. Thank you all for putting on the show behind the scenes, though. Thank you, Allie. Thank you, Fiery. Thank you, Nitzy. Thank you, Vitasia. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all in chat. And you all have a great rest of the evening. We'll catch you around next time.
Same to you. Good luck in the next round, Pankraz.
Thank you.
Well, I think Pankraz just did our job for us, wrapping everything up. Once again, thank you everyone behind the scenes, and of course xPankraz and Judge Joe for both putting on a fantastic show. One last time, if you're willing to help us and want to jump into the booth, join us over on our Discord and just ask questions. We'd love to have you help us out put on these shows as well. That's going to do it for this particular race. I think we just went live over on our free Enterprise 2 race. I think we're going to send everyone over to that race where John Burkhead is facing Bard in his first round match here. So we will be getting that raid set up. And thank you, everyone. And remember, we have lots of other races scheduled tomorrow and another race on Friday over at RPG Limit Break as well. But otherwise, we'll see you all at the next race. Have a great rest of your night.
Yes, to you and each other. Take care of take care of yourselves and each other. And see you maybe Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific on a Limit Break channel. Bye for now.